What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to teach you how to sump a factory G-body tank. It's very simple, but it does require some welding, guys. So with that, let's get this video started today. So if you keep up with the builds, we got the Regal sitting back here that we're going to start playing with. I'm trying to do little things here and there. We're still waiting on a few fuel things to kick in or to come in. Guys, you need to get over there and comment on the giveaway. It says giveaway big, you can't miss it. Get on there, comment so you can possibly be entered. But that's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to talk about this tank. So I got a factory tank, and you see the hole drilled in the center. That's there so I can get the old fuel out. I watered the tank down. It's been sitting overnight in the rain too, so it's not really the smartest choice, but that's how I do it. But we'll get back to this whole area here in a minute. You see right here, we got a sump, ordered off eBay. I will try to find the link. Boom, boom. Done this a few times, so there's ways to do it. I didn't realize these were this big, so I'm gonna have to find some fittings for that. Oh, this is 3/4, so 3/4 to 10 AN is what we're gonna have to find. But guys, we got a few of the parts in real quick. We'll look here. We got an A2 AEM 400 pumps. We have a 100 micron Evo Engineering filter, very cheap stainless steel filter, should work for E85 just fine. We have a 30 mil post filter from Evo Engineering. Once again, it was like 30 bucks. Great buy for the price. And then we have a cheap PQY fuel pressure regulator. Comes with the gauge, your fittings. We might end up changing the fittings to 10 AN. But that's the basic fuel setup we're gonna run. We're also gonna have flex fuel, so we gotta order the flex fuel sensor and the adapter for that. But it's pretty cheap, simple system that should well take into the 800 range. So with all that, if you have any questions, ask me and I'll tell you my opinions, but this is how we're going to do the fuel system. It's a proven way, it works. That's what's done to the twin car. Actually, I've got the smaller pumps and it's working fine. We're probably going to up it to the 400 pumps next. We'll see what happens, but let's get back to the tank real quick. So if you look at the tank, you see the lines. This is something I always do, is I sit my sump up there. I mark exactly where the sump needs to be welded on. Mark it with the marker. And then what I'm going to do is I take it off. I try to stay a ½ inch away from my lines. And what I do is I drill a bunch of big holes in this. I do not cut it all the way out, because I kind of use this as a second baffle. If you cut it completely out, the fuel can actually slosh out of it. If you drill holes in it, it's a little harder for the fuel to slosh, even though it should never slosh. If you start running out of fuel, it should help hold it in there. So the next thing I got to do is get the hose drilled in here and then kind of prep the tank for the welding process. So let me go find my big drill bit and we'll go from there. So guys, if you look at that, you see all the holes, got one on each side of the baffle. I'm gonna have to take a magnet inside the tank to make sure it's nice and clean. We're also gonna take air inside of it, deburr it real quick. And I do this because plenty of fuel is gonna get through this with all these holes. But it'll also help keep from sloshing real bad. Something I learned, I don't know, a couple years ago, talking to a bunch of drag racers and stuff. You know, Circle Track World, we use foam to keep from sloshing, but supposedly this works. So now, boom, boom. I'm gonna grind all this, make sure it's nice and clean, and I will probably be taking it to my buddy Joe's to have him weld it. But with that, we also got some other stuff in. I got some new tires in, some hand-cut Kenner GSTs for the twin car so that I can cruise around on the street. I've got to give the drag radials back since they're not mine, and I wanted something I could drive in the rain and not worry about. So I'm gonna get those switched over tomorrow at work. But we'll get this welded on, and you can kind of see the finished project, and we'll go from there. So guys, we're back today, and as you can tell, we got the sump welded on. We got a 3/4 to 10 AN fitting in the one side, 3/4 plug in the other. I just went to Street and Strip up the road from us and picked them up. Drew up there is really good about knowing what you need. I also picked up the fuel rail for the fuel rails, the AN fittings. But we're gonna do something else, and that is the return. And this is how I use the return. So normally this is your main feed for your stock car, and then it feeds down. You got this sock. I'm actually gonna use this for the return so you have another filter just in case. You shouldn't need it, but just in case. I also picked up this little fitting from Street and Strip while I was up there, and uses a copper collar inside of it to basically bite down and pinch down into it. And it's pretty simple to use, but this is what I'm going to use for the return. This is a 6 AN return. This is the same thing that's on the twin car. Might have to do some cleaning up, but oh no, it's good. So basically you put that fitting on, you put your piece over it, and you just kind of tighten it down. And it's very simple. Yes, I should be using AN wrenches. I do not have any. Anybody want to send me some? Feel free. I'd love to have a set, but I do not have any. So I'm going to tighten this down. We also have 8 AN PTFE line coming for the fuel line. Evil Engineering. I will try to get the part number for you guys. It was like $100 with all the fittings and everything. We're really trying to get the fuel system done. So that's it, guys. Look, I mean, it won't spin, it bites into it, and it seals it up with that copper collar. And actually you can replace the collars if you need to. If you're hearing my kids, they're outside playing while I'm doing this, since it's a nice fall day. But I mean, that's really it on the sump side. I'm gonna get the tank back in it and kind of show you how I'm gonna try to do the fuel. So kind of let me get this put back together, and we'll go from there. So guys, that's really it on the sump. It's actually fairly straightforward how to do a sump. The problem is you do have to weld. Some people can't weld, so if you can't weld, you will have to find somebody to do it. Or you can technically bite into the upper lines and use a small line, but for the horsepower we're wanting to make, you really can't do that. So this is a 10 AN fitting, and my goal, and I'll show you here in a minute, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna run the fuel line actually this way, instead of like on my car where it's running this way. Reason being, I don't want to cut his spare tire carrier out. So I'm gonna run it down the frame, and my goal is to mount the pumps back here. And I'll show you how I plan on doing that here in just a second. But normally I'd weld the sump in, but my buddy kind of just volunteered to go ahead and do it. So it makes it nice. I didn't have to. We already pressure checked it, it should be good. But let me grab the dual fuel pumps and show you on the back side of how we plan on mounting them. So here's the back side of the tank. Dual fuel pumps. Run this way. My goal is to build a bracket, probably something like this. Just have the line come around. I'm gonna have a filter on this side, a filter on this side, and then the line will go straight up into the rails, and then we'll get into the EF or the flex fuel stuff. But that's what I plan on doing, is building some kind of bracket to hold this in place, because there's no mounting brackets, of course. So I'll probably build something off the trunk here that bolts to the trunk, inside the trunk, holds the pumps somewhere right in here, and then we will put a fuel pump on each, or a fuel filter on each side, and run it up, and then he can keep his factory suspension in the factory location without getting a bunch of stuff in the way. We'll get to that on the next video on how I plan on doing that, because I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll figure it out. So guys, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Billy, who lives up the road. He helped me get the 80 in this container I just went and bought. So I've got the spare 4L80 that I got to build, and all the parts in the container. I just got to put it in the other room, so it's away for now. But that's really it on the sump. We're going to get into fuel pump mounting, what fuel filters are run, getting them in to the flex fuel sensor, up into the rails, and how we run it into the rails, the regulator, and how you should run it, or how I was told we need to run it. That's really it for now though. We're gonna be trying to bust the Regal out. All the suspension parts will be here in like 2 days. So I'm gonna show you how to put the coil springs in the front, or how I do it, and get the shocks in it, the springs in it, bring the new wheels that you all haven't seen yet here, and get them on there, see how it's gonna sit. We still got to get the fender liners in, finish up a little bit on the turbo kit, just a lot of little odd and ends, but we should be there pretty quickly. I really want to get the Regal as close to done as I can soon, so that I can get it to Steve's at Amp Motorsport Solutions, so he can get it wired up and we can get it going. If anybody on here has the factory column shift stuff for a G-body, specifically a Regal, let me know. I might be interested in buying it. We're going to try to hook up the column shift on this, and it has the column shift, but it doesn't have all the parts to run it. So I'd like to try to find them and modify it to work with the 4L80. I'll find them eventually, I guess. But guys, that's really it. Sumping a G-body tank is fairly simple. Just find somebody that can weld, or go buy you a welder. Mainly it's a lot of little tack welds, and the sump was around 35 bucks, 36 bucks off eBay. And we just used a factory tank, so it's not that complicated. If you can weld, pretty much anybody can do it. So guys, with that, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see all the videos as they appear. Go to the giveaway, comment on the giveaway. In less than 2 weeks, I'm stopping it, and whoever's name gets drawn is going to be the one, or the 2 names get drawn are going to be the ones that win the shirts. And then as we grow, we'll do a turbo giveaway, but we're not to that point yet. So, but guys, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.